Hi, everybody, my lovely PCOS warriors. Thank you for coming to week 1 of this session. I am going to get the presentation up now, so I'm going to share. I want this to be interactive and informative, and I want it to be fun. So if you have any suggestions on what I can do better, please let me know. And if you have any questions, just raise your hand and I'll stop and we'll go over that because this session is really for you and I want to cater it to your needs. So this today is kind of just a little bit of a housekeeping before we really get into more of the nitty-gritty details of the flow of the program. So let's just dive right in. Okay. So a little bit about me. I'm Felicia Spence. I am a registered dietitian, and I know both of you that are in my session this week. So different places that you live, but all the same good information that I'm going to give you that you're going to be able to use in your home, at the gym, when you're grocery shopping, when you're cooking at home. All of these tools can be used to help better and manage your PCOS. Okay, so I've been a dietitian for 10 plus years. I started out in geriatrics, then I veered and did more weight loss and wellness, and now I'm here. I'm here because I have struggled with fertility in the past few years, but more specifically related to PCOS. So when I was in my early 20s, I was diagnosed with polycystic ovarian syndrome, and I didn't really know much. And at that time, I didn't know if I really wanted kids. So it didn't seem that big of a deal to me, but it still was a profound hit. I remember leaving the doctor's office and thinking, wow, I don't know if I'm ever going to have kids. That might be totally off the table. But what I've come to know is that there are ways that we can better our situation, because as we will learn and as we'll go through this group is that there are so many other kind of downfall effects from PCOS outside of fertility. And I know a lot of you are here because of weight loss or other goals that you have. So it doesn't necessarily have to be fertility, but there are so many things that we can work on when it comes to PCOS. So we will get to that later on. I am a mom. I have a 3-year-old toddler, so I was able to get pregnant and I have a successful delivery and a healthy child, even though she has a blister on her foot today and I had to take her to the hospital or to the doctor to get it drained. But you know, everything's good. I have a husband and I have a dog. I love to hike. I love trying new recipes, especially taking recipes and changing them up so that they have more protein, more fiber, things that are a little bit more hormone friendly, PCOS friendly, insulin and glucose friendly. So trying new recipes. I manage Airbnbs, so I have a couple places in the Finger Lakes near Keuka Lake, and we also have a single family home in Saranac Lake. So we are very fortunate that we have these places that we can rent out to people, but also to enjoy ourselves. And part of me loving hiking is that I'm in the mountains, so we have that special place. I also have my real estate license, got that about a year and a half ago, and that was just kind of something else to do, I guess, something to add to my belt. So I have, so that's always fun to do on the side. My favorite food is chocolate. I don't like chocolate flavored things like pies or pudding, just straight up chocolate. It is so good. I'll just have it for a snack or just to kind of tame that sweet tooth. But chocolate's my favorite food. My favorite kitchen tool is the Vitamix. I use it almost on the daily to make sauces, soups, smoothie bowls, banana nice cream. So I use this high-powered blender every day. And my favorite cuisine is Thai food. It is so good. I love pad Thai. could have pad thai every day, but love it. So pad thai is my favorite cuisine. I'm the one that's going to be making your meal plans and anything that you need in between. I like to call my services concierge services. So if you want to know if a product in a grocery store is something that you should buy, send me a picture of it and I will give you my thoughts. I might not get back to you right away, but I will get back to you as soon as I can. So I'm here as a resource, and I want you all to know that you can text me, message me at any time. I might not answer you after 9 p.m. or before 6 a.m., but if it's sitting there, I'll definitely get back to you during the day. The trainer that I had make your workout, his name is Jeremiah. He's actually my brother, and he is a certified personal trainer. And he created this great workout that I will send you after this class. It's a low impact workout with 3 days, and you can do it at home or in the gym. And then he suggests 3 days of cardio, and that's at your choice. So we're not going to really tell you anything to do, right? We're going to give you recommendations, and we want you to use them. If you don't and you make the choice of not doing it, then that's your choice. But we, all of our information is going to be evidence-based. So it is proven to help manage PCOS, whether that be through movement, whether that be through stress management, whether that be through low tox living and nutrition, of course. So all of these things are going to benefit you in some way. His favorite food is chicken wings. Yeah, and his favorite exercise movement is a burpee. Yeah, I feel like you talk to any trainer and their favorite exercise is going to be a burpee. Anyways, and his favorite way to work out is hiking. I actually was with him when he finished the Saranac Lake 6. If you don't know what that is, there are 6 mountain peaks in Saranac Lake, New York, and he finished it, and that was his 2022 goal. So super proud of him. He loves lifting and mountain races. He is accepting clients, so if you want something more personalized, then I would reach out to him. But the workouts that he is giving you each week, they're fantastic. But if you do want something a little bit more personalized, if it's not quite meeting your needs, I would definitely reach out to him. He is very responsive. So if you text him or you email him, he'll get back to you. So the flow of this group is, it's a flexible guideline. So if there's something that you want to specifically talk about in the realm of these subjects, then let's focus on that, because you are here to learn what you want to learn. I have some tips and tricks that I want to share with you, but I want to make sure that I'm covering everything that you want to learn. So today we are, of course, going to do the introduction to the program. I'm going to share with you some group values, our program expectations, and then we're going to dig into PCOS. What is it and how can we manage it? Week 2, we're going to do a deep dive, and this is going to be next week, deep dive into PCOS with nutrition and supplementation. So what foods can we eat that are going to help manage the symptoms of PCOS? And everybody's symptoms are a little bit different, depending on severity, depending on how long that they've been unmanaged. We're going to look at those foods, and we're not going to really take a look at all of the minutia of nutrition, meaning like we're not going to go into all of the minerals and vitamins. We are going to touch on some of the things that you might need to supplement, but I'm not going to dig really deep into the minutia of nutrition, because it's about the food that you eat, not really about the science of what we eat, right? I'm converting the science into actual eating practices and eating habits for you. So we're really going to focus on the type of food, the quality of food, and how to portion it out on your plate so that your insulin's in control, so that your inflammation's in control, so that you're choosing quality foods, right? So week 2 is really about nutrition and supplementation. Week 3, we're going to do stress and most likely sleep. So how are we going to manage those hormones that are really kind of ramping us up for inflammation, right? So how do we cope? And week 4 is low tox living. So we live in a world that is full of what we call endocrine disruptors. So they could be pesticides, they could be stuff that's in plastic. It could be things that are in your makeup or your hair products. So we're going to really dig a little bit deeper on the things that you use on a daily basis and how we can lower the amount of endocrine disruptors in your life. Because if we're getting rid of those things, then we're helping your hormones regulate naturally in your body, right? We don't want your hormones to be disrupted by our environment. So what we're going to really learn throughout these weeks is that everything around us, on us, and in us matters. So this will be an adventure. Okay, so with each session, we're going to do a little bit of breath work. And this is just to relax our bodies and to really make us present in the session that we're going to have. So this is called box breathing. And box breathing is a breath in for 4 counts, hold for 4 count, breathe out for 4 count, and then hold for 4 count, and then repeat. And while you're doing this cycle of breathing and your eyes are closed, or they can be open, just kind of gently looking into the distance, you're actually visualizing creating that box in your mind. So when you breathe in for a count of 4, you're making the top of the box. You're holding, you're creating the side of the box, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to take 2-3 minutes and we're just going to work on this box breathing. Okay. So I want you to find a comfortable spot in your chair, whether you have to lean back a little bit more or uncross your legs, feet flat on the ground if you can, your hands in a neutral position, something that feels comfortable. Totally relax your body. And as you're doing this box breathing, your body will naturally relax. It'll start slowing down. Your breathing will normalize. Your heart rate will slow down. Right? You'll start to feel really good benefits from it. So let's get started. Okay. In for a count of 4. Hold. Out. Hold. Repeat. Go ahead and do the counting and visualization of making the box in your own pace. I will bring us back to the session once we have completed the minutes. Let's do a couple together. In breath. Hold. Out breath. Hold. In breath. Hold. Out breath. Hold. Okay. If you've closed your eyes, you can open your eyes again. Now we're all in a relaxed state of mind. We're going to let all this information sink in our brains. This is a great breathing exercise if you have trouble going to sleep. This will really kind of get you all comfy in your bed, feeling heavy and nice and warm. So try it before bed. Or if you feel any sort of stress coming on, then this would be a good breathing exercise. You can do it anywhere while you're waiting in line. Maybe you're stuck in traffic. Maybe it's every time you open Facebook or some sort of social media, maybe that's a cue to do some breath work before you kind of sink into the world of social media, right? So this is called box breathing. And next week I'll do a different breath work exercise. As we go through these sessions, our goal and my goal is to get you well sooner. You may not feel crappy now, but if you are diagnosed with PCOS, your body is internally wreaking havoc. And that kind of low-grade inflammation, and especially when we're talking about insulin resistance, as your body is making more insulin and it's not taking in, and it is taking in the glucose, but then it kind of poops out over time and your glucose starts to rise and your risk for type 2 diabetes kind of is more apparent as we get older, that we aren't well now, right? You may not see the symptoms, but they will creep up on you later in life. So if we don't start managing the symptoms now, we're going to be managing our sickness later on. So I want you to feel vibrant. I want you to feel healthy. So all of the things that we're going to learn are things that you're going to, that are going to impact you not only now, but they're going to impact you later in life. Okay, so get well sooner than later. Let's start now. Even if it's one thing that you change, that is still better than nothing changing. Okay. So our values of this program, I really want to emphasize all of these. The number one in this list doesn't mean that it's the most important. They're all important. But if there's one that resonates with you the most, then I would kind of maybe take that on as your leading value. But also keep these in mind. So progress over perfection. If we strive for perfection, then we are living an all or nothing lifestyle, right? And if you've ever been on a diet before, an all or nothing lifestyle is I'm doing everything I can at 150%. And if I do one thing wrong, then I'm not doing it at all, right? So that we live in this kind of volatile all or nothing world, especially when it comes to weight loss. And with PCOS and weight loss, it takes time. It takes time for our body to get used to our new behaviors. It takes time for our hormones to regulate. It takes time for all of these things to kick in. So progress over perfection. We want to do small changes because small changes are going to be more sustainable and small changes end up making big changes. You can't just jump from the first floor of a house to the second floor. You have to take the steps to get to the second floor. So that's the idea here. We're going to be taking steps to get us to where we want to go. Quality over quantity. When it comes to weight loss, quantity is kind of what we naturally go towards, right? That if we eat 1,000 calories in quantity, then we're going to be seeing weight loss and maybe even sustained weight loss. But what we're doing is we're really starving ourselves. So I want to get numbers kind of out of the equation. And maybe down the line, we will talk numbers, how many calories you should be eating, how many minutes you should be working out, kind of getting into that nitty gritty. But right now, I'm just focusing on quality of food. Where are you getting the food? Is it organic? Is it grass-fed? Are these quality meats? Are these quality vegetables and fruits that you're putting into your body? Think about it. You're eating, besides sleeping, you're eating every 2 to 3 hours. You are inundating your body with foods. Those foods are going to affect your health, not only with PCOS and your hormones, but your body is all interconnected, right? So whatever is going to be helping your PCOS is probably going to be helping other aspects of your body: brain health, heart health, skin health, right? We want our skin, especially, I don't know, women, they love to have vibrant skin. So quality over quantity. How can we increase the quality of not only our food products, but how do we increase the quality of our meals that we put together? Right? Even when you think about exercise, quality over quantity. You could do 100 squats and you would do 100 squats wrong, right? We want to make sure that we're having proper form so that the exercise isn't painful. Right? We never want exercise to equal pain. Exercise can be tiresome. It can create fatigue. Fine. Exercise can create soreness. That's fine. But pain, we want to stop, right? So quality over quantity. Be intentional. We want to set intentions every day. I'm going to wake up and I'm going to do my best to have greens today. You know, set that intentionality. More than half of the actions that we have every day, more than half of the things that we perform every day are out of habits. So it's not something that we necessarily think about. So every choice you make has to be intentional, right? Women with PCOS, we're more sensitive to pesticides. We're more sensitive to foods that cause inflammation. So we need to be a little bit more intentional with the foods that we choose, the exercise that we're doing, the products that we're choosing, the environment that we're putting ourselves in. All of those things matter. Right? So being a little bit more intentional about the choices that we make. Grace over negativity. Oh, geez, we can get down on ourselves so bad. I know I can do it to myself as well. This is bad. This is not good. Whatever your negative self-talk is, we're all human, right? We all make mistakes. So what I would ask of you and me, of ourselves, is that we give ourselves a little grace. We're going to make mistakes, and that's totally fine. This journey is not a straight line. And when we're thinking about PCOS, it's a lifestyle change. It's not something that we're going to do now and forget about later on. All of these tools, all of this information, hopefully is something that you're going to be able to take with you for the rest of your life. Listen to your body. Super important. Listen, listen, listen. Especially, let's talk about food. So if you're eating something and it's just not sitting right, for me, for example, I love apples, but when I eat apples, I get all itchy. Like my mouth gets itchy, my ears get itchy. I'm having a reaction to it. If you have a reaction to a food like that, I want you to stop eating it. And it's not that you have to take it out altogether forever. It's just right now your body's really sensitive to it. So I usually stay away from apples until apple season in the fall, right? And then I go into the orchard and I'm able to eat an abundance of apples. So you have to really listen to your body. The same thing with stress. What are your cues for stress? How does your body react to them? And how can we lower those reactions? You can sometimes feel stress coming on. Maybe your face gets a little hot. Maybe your teeth start clenching. Right? There are certain cues that your body will tell you when you start to get stressed out. So listening to your body for those things. Exercise. Am I doing too much? When should I pull back? Your body will tell you if you need to pull back. Movement doesn't have to be painful. Movement can be enjoyable. And the best workout anybody can do is walking. Okay? Getting your heart rate up doesn't take much. Doing a brisk walk, especially when it's nice outside. If you're from Buffalo, you know we only have a little time span that we can go outside and enjoy it. So this is the time to really pick up your steps or your movement. in a gentle manner. My expectations is that you attend all sessions. You are paying for this service, and I want you to be accountable, and I want you to take everything that you can and suck it in like a sponge. And the only way that it's going to be effective is if you're here. If you absolutely cannot, and I totally understand work gets in the way, emergencies get in the way, I am going to post these on YouTube. So you can listen back, you can listen to it to the first time. If you forget like a little note that I said, then you can always go back. After each session, I'm going to send a notes email. So it's going to, just sum up what we talked about in each session. Okay, so that should help you keep on track. Follow the meal plan. I'm just going to briefly go over the meal plan that I sent out yesterday and show you how you can make preference substitutions. So if you don't like salmon, what are other things that you can replace with it? If I put green beans on there or broccoli and you're not a fan of that, well, what green vegetables do you like? How can we put that on the plate? If you don't like the apple that I put for snack, then what do you have? Do you have a banana? Do you have oranges? Do you have berries? Like what's in the house that you enjoy, and how can we use those preference substitutions to help you achieve your goal? Get to moving your body in a way that brings joy. Move your body. That's any way possible. Any way possible. We are a sitting culture, and I do it to myself too. Getting ready for the session and doing work, I'm at my computer all day sitting and typing. So getting up and taking a break, stretching, moving, doing something. Start tracking your cycle health. We will talk more about cycle health next week before we dive into nutrition, but your cycle health as a woman is a lifeline, right? You have your heartbeat, you have your brain health, you have your all of your nervous system working. Your cycle health is super important to how your body is properly functioning. If we're not having regular cycles, or you're missing cycles, or you have no cycles at all, if they're light, if they're heavy, if they're painful, if they're short, if they're long, whatever, we need to kind of take a look at that and see how we can regulate it, because that means there's something going on, whether that's inflammation, whether that's insulin resistance, maybe it's a deficiency in something. But your cycle health to a woman is super important to understand. So there are all sorts of apps out there that you can track your cycle health. You can write down the days of your cycle, when your period starts, when your period ends. And this isn't just to say that you want to get pregnant. No, this is just general health for a woman. We need to understand our cycles. What are you eating? So tracking what you're eating. If you're not knowing what you're eating, then how can we change it? And I bet you, I don't want to trash 100% of your dietary pattern. You probably have many good things in it, but there probably are tweaks that we can say, hey, this is going to be a little bit better for your hormone health, right? How much fat are we taking in? Fat is essential for women that have hormonal issues, because fat is hormones, right? So we need enough fat. We don't want to do anything low fat. So making sure that you're getting enough of those nutrients to support your condition. And how are you moving? Are we getting in movement every day? And all of these things you can track these in different ways, right? So you're eating, you can use apps like MyFitnessPal. You can use my Better Practice platform. And that's what I would suggest if you're going to, track what you're eating, is put that right into that platform so that I can see it. And then I can always send you notes and saying, hey, maybe add this or that to whatever you're eating. Learn, act, and repeat. So learn something, act on it, and repeat it. If it feels good, if it looks good, then it's probably good, right? So we want to learn from these sessions. We want to act on our goals, and we want to repeat them over and over and over, because consistency is going to be key. It takes about 3 to 4 months for your body to really make changes. So if what you're doing that's healthy and it's repeatable and sustainable, then we're going to be able to stay on track and make those goals work for you in the upcoming months. And you might say, oh my gosh, 3 to 4 months, that takes forever. 3 to 4 months is not that long in the whole scheme of life. And it's not that long to feel healthy for the rest of your life, right? So start now, learn something, act on it, and repeat it. And also keep in contact with me. What I find previously working with people is that when you keep in contact with your coach, you have better outcomes. So keep in contact with me. Like I said, messaging is super easy. I can get back to you, as soon as I can. So those are the values, the expectations, our goal, and now we're kind of going to get into the information of it all. So what is PCOS? PCOS stands for polycystic ovarian syndrome. And I'm not sure what all your doctors have said to you about it, but my doctor didn't really say that much. They really said it's the #1 cause of infertility in women, and that, if you ever want to go down that route, then, we can figure something else out. Usually the first line of medication is a contraceptive pill, because it hides your symptoms, right? It suppresses your hormones and it hides your systems, and it gives symptoms, and it gives you a regular cycle. But when you get off of those contraceptives, then what we find is that your symptoms come back, whether that be weight gain, hair growth, insulin resistance. All of those symptoms are going to come back, and they typically come back even worse. So how do we replete nutrients? How do we move our body in a way that isn't going to increase inflammation? And how do we manage stress? All of these things are going to play into the lifestyle changes that we're going to be making. So PCOS is medically defined as having 2 of the 3 characteristics listed here. So one is polycystic looking ovaries, and those ovaries are at the bottom. So you have your normal ovary, which has all of these nice follicles that aren't a lot in them. There's just a few that have matured. When you look at the polycystic ovary, it looks like Swiss cheese, basically. And what is happening is your body is not creating mature follicles. So if you're not creating mature follicles, you're most likely not ovulating. And if you're not ovulating, then you can't go into the second half of your period, of your cycle. And if you're not going into the second half of your cycle, then you're probably not going to have your menstruation, right? So if we're not making mature follicles, then we're not going to be getting to menstruation. So that's why many women have irregular menstrual cycles when they have PCOS. Okay, so our hormones that are regulating, creating these follicles, releasing an egg, a mature egg, and creating a nice uterus, and then detaching the nice uterus if we don't get pregnant. If all of those hormones aren't in order, then we're going to have irregular periods. And that can be caused by high stress levels, off sleep schedules, nutrition that is full of processed foods, over exercise. All of these stressors on your body can create irregular periods. So polycystic looking ovaries, those are your Swiss cheese ovaries, and then your irregular periods, the absence of periods, and then your elevated levels of androgens, and the androgens are going to be your male hormones. So that's like testosterone. So if you've ever gotten tested for your hormones and testosterone was high, and you had one of those 3 other things up there, then you would be diagnosed with PCOS. All women make testosterone. It's just that women with PCOS have elevated levels of testosterone. We can't clear it, or we can't change it to estrogen, right? It stays as testosterone. And as we have higher levels of testosterone, we see male pattern factors. So things like excess hair growth, and that could be on your chin, on your chest, on your back. So we find that acne, skin inflammation, thinning hair, baldness, all of those things are going to be symptoms of high testosterone levels. Outside of high testosterone symptoms, women with PCOS, because of their hormonal imbalance and issues with their metabolism, which metabolism is hormonally driven, it does affect our overall health. Right? So women with PCOS are more likely to experience depression and anxiety. So those types of mental health issues, and really depression and anxiety can be related back to your gut health, right? Our gut and our brain are connected. So if our nutrition isn't right, then our mental health state won't align. Okay. You're twice as likely to have a cardiovascular event, whether that be a heart attack or a stroke. So making sure that our cardiovascular health is in check. And like I said, all of our whole body is connected. So if we're eating healthy for our PCOS, then we're going to be eating healthy for other parts of our body. And then women with PCOS may have prediabetes, and later on in life are more likely to develop full-blown diabetes by the time they are 40. So it is this kind of like constant low-grade inflammation that's going on in our body that's really wear and tearing down our organs. And when our organs aren't working properly, then that's when these disease states can happen. So PCOS kind of just like speeds things along a little bit. So we want to be very mindful and intentional about the behaviors that we have. Okay, so PCOS at the heart of it is a hormone imbalance. And to really manage it with lifestyle factors, we have to really look at our nutrition, our exercise, and what we're doing on a daily basis. So, whoa, so much information, kind of scary. Like I could be infertile, which I don't like using that word. It's really, when you have PCOS, you're not infertile, you have subfertility. It just means that we have to optimize your fertility to get you where you need to go. And you're like, oh my gosh, cardiovascular events, no one wants a heart attack, right? It's the #1 cause of death in the United States. Type 2 diabetes, no one wants to manage their sugar, right? You want to feel healthy, and you want to feel healthy for a long, long time. So PCOS can be managed with lifestyle factors, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing. We're going to be working on this together throughout these 4 weeks. And of course, if you need something beyond 4 weeks or you need something one-off, we can always do that as well. I am happy to personalize anything and help you along your journey. You can lose weight. It may take longer than the Joe Schmo girl next to you, but you can lose weight, okay? Just takes a little time. You can have a baby if that's what you want. I have proof of the pudding. I have one. You can be healthy. You can have energy. Man, when you're in the thick of PCOS, you feel tired and fatigued all the time, but you can feel energetic. You can feel vibrant. You can feel healthy. We can get you there. So the meal plans and workouts that I sent you, meal plans are going to be by PDF. And what I would suggest is that you print these out and start making yourself a PCOS friendly cookbook, and then just make notes on it. Hey, I want to substitute this out. I want to substitute that out. What I'm looking for in the meals that I'm prescribing is a 40-30-30 macro split. And if you're not counting macros, that's totally fine. I'm just giving you this as information and to let you know that it's a moderate carb intake. We're not going down to 0 carbs. I want you to eat those healthy carbohydrates, whether that's coming from fruits, vegetables, whole grains, pasta, potatoes, that type of thing. And then 30% protein and 30% fat. So that's the macro split that I'm looking for. Of course, some of these recipes are going to have, they're levies, right? So you're going to have a little bit of more of something, you're going to have a little less the next meal. Okay, so 40-30-30, about. Very vegetable forward. Vegetables are going to be where you get all your micro nutrients, and you're going to get a lot of vitamins, fiber, and water, which are all beneficial for PCOS and other diseases, but specifically PCOS. and follow the PCOS plate method for serving meals. So if you have a recipe or you're at a social function, say that you, looking back on like any July 4th activities that you did, could you have used the PCOS plate method for serving up your food? Right? So I will show you that plate in just a second. Your workouts can be done at home or in the gym, and they include 3 days of resistance training and then 3 days of your choice of cardio. Okay. Here is the PCOS plate, and this is kind of what I want you to visualize every time you're making a meal. I recommend half of your plate some sort of green vegetable. Doesn't have to be a leafy green, but maybe it's green beans, maybe it's broccoli. You know, there are other things out there than just leafy greens. Why I say that is because greens are the powerhouse of fertility and of managing your hormones. They have magnesium in it, which is helpful for relaxing your body. They have folate in it. They have zinc, which is good for your immune system. And they have fiber, which is going to help with your gut health, right? That gut-brain connection. Also with just producing lowering inflammation because your gut health is no longer leaking. You no longer have a kind of a leaky gut that's putting all these toxins into your body, right? So half of your plate, some sort of green vegetables. If you can't, give yourself a little bit of grace, right? Today, I just came back from Keuka Lake and I had no vegetables in my fridge. I had baby carrots and that's what I had. So you only can do the best that you can in the situation that you have. So half of your plate, green veggies. Your fiber is going to be a quarter of your plate. So that can be starchy vegetables like potatoes, peas, corn. It also could be starches like pasta and breads or whole grains. Beans are a really good fiber source. So something that's a little bit starchy, but also could be just more vegetables or a piece of fruit, right? So some sort of plant-based item that has fiber in it. What you don't see on this plate is me saying like a quarter of your plate carbs, because with weight loss, we have this carbo fear. Okay? We have this fear that eating too many carbs or that carbohydrates are bad, which there are tons of carbohydrates that are very healthy for you. So I've just split this plate up in a little bit more mind-friendly, diet-friendly wording than something that you would typically see. And then a quarter of your plate would be the protein. So whether that be salmon, it could be beans if you're more plant-based, tofu, tempeh, you know, some sort of fish, poultry, that type of thing. That is your quarter of the plate. What I tend to find is people fill up their plate with protein and traditional carbs like pasta, and we have no veggies. So what I'm really trying to focus on here is how do we get veggies on your plate? How do we crowd out or at least begin to portion size some of the other sides of the other portions of the plate? And how do we put in those things that are really going to nourish your body so that you're working at the most optimized you're working at the most optimized body in the most optimized body that you can. Right? Okay, so what I want to do is to go over the meal plan. So everyone should have gotten a PDF printout of this meal plan. I gave you 7 days, and what I'm going to do every week is send you a new meal plan on Tuesday for the next week. So the nutrition plan, you have breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, and then you have a second snack here, which are going to be mainly fruits and vegetables and some sort of protein. So like nuts, seeds, that type of thing. If you have some sort of food allergy, then I would just begin substituting things out. If you do have a nut allergy, then I would say seeds are amazing. You're going to get your vitamin E, you're going to get your healthy fats. So, you know, doing seeds more than nuts. You can see that there's a lot of green vegetables on here in your smoothie. I have a yogurt bowl. If you're staying away from dairy, I would say there are a ton of dairy substitutes out there. And I can guide you in the right direction if you need some substitutes. some handheld foods, some easy recipes like skewers, a salmon dish, a chicken dish. So all sorts of different variety. This provides you a grocery list. So I would go through all of the recipes and see which ones you like. And maybe you just start off with 2 recipes this week and you make, extra servings so that you have them for leftovers. That's kind of the trick of meal planning, is you have to like leftovers so that you don't have to always be in the kitchen. But if you love cooking and you love being in the kitchen, then I would say change it up every day if you can. So then go through this grocery list and just cross out the things you already have at home, some of the canned goods or products you might already have. And that could be, it looks like a lot, but when you actually go through it, a lot of the pantry stuff you might already have. And also, if you don't like all of these fruits laying around, then maybe you just eat the same fruit every day. And then the next week you pick up something different. For example, blueberries are in season this week. Or in season in the next couple of weeks. So maybe you're just stocking up on blueberries because they're so good right now. And cherries are in season. And strawberries are coming to the end of the season, but you can still find them and they're super good. And your snacks. The day in the life. I kind of like this layout. You rise and shine, take a breath, have your breakfast. Make sure that if you're eating breakfast, if you're drinking coffee in the morning, if you're a coffee person, eat something before you have coffee. That's going to help lower the cortisol. Cortisol is a stress hormone. So we want to make sure that we're eating something before we have coffee. Try not to skip meals because that's going to play with our insulin levels and our glucose levels. So we want to make sure that we're eating in a timely manner. Staying mindful, intentional. You have all your meals. Your exercise, right? Meal prepping for the next day and making sure that you're getting to bed on time. I love this. Print this page out and put it on your fridge, put it next to your bed. It just reminds you that like, this is like a healthy flow of the day. And then here are all your recipes. Take a look through them. I mean, some of them are super easy. It's like pour cashews into a bowl and eat. Cut up kiwi and eat. So these are really simple recipes to get you going. Tomatoes and cucumbers in season. If you don't like quinoa, maybe you switch it out for farro or a wild grain rice, or even white rice for that matter. If that's all you have in your cupboard, it's not necessarily that it's white rice is bad. It's what else is on our plate. Are we having a vegetable? Are we having a good source of protein? All of these ingredients. So let's say black-eyed pea walnut salad. So your walnuts are really awesome. They're going to have those nice omega-3s in it. So walnuts are like PCOS power food. But if you don't like black-eyed peas, you can switch it out for any bean. Maybe you like lentils in your salad or chickpeas. You don't have to necessarily have black-eyed peas, but that's what's suggested in the recipe. Arugula, I know, like me, I'm like really picky about where arugula goes. So you can always pick a different leafy green. Any of the wraps that you don't see a lot of vegetables with, just remember the PCOS plate, and that in each meal you want half of your plate a leafy green or some sort of green vegetables. Okay, so if you have any questions about these recipes, just let me know. Or if you need a substitution or you want some other suggestions, let me know. Here is your movement PDF. So how to exercise with PCOS is listening to your body. Getting started, you always want to warm up, get those muscles going, get those joints lubricated so we don't hurt ourselves, and finding balance with it. What Jeremiah suggests is that bands, mats, light weights. If you want to increase more, if you want more resistance, then if you have a gym, then that you can bring this workout with you. What I would suggest is taking a picture of the workout. So if you have your phone and you're listening to music anyways, then you can kind of just like look on your phone to see what the exercises are. So he gave you 3 resistance workouts, and any of these exercises, I will send you a link on like YouTube channels that you can look up what they are. And then low impact cardio. So that could be cycling, treadmill walking, swimming, kayaking, paddleboarding, yoga, just moving your body in a different way that isn't resistance training. Okay. So that's all there for you. What I want you to do now is to take 2 to 3 minutes to write one goal for this week. You know, if one goal this week is to make my dinner plate half green vegetables, that's one goal. If your one goal is I'm going to get out and walk 30 minutes on Monday, let's write that goal down. So take this time to write one goal for this week. Take another 5 minutes to schedule your grocery shopping, food prep, and workouts. So whether you do that in your Google Calendar or you are somebody that has a paper calendar or a calendar on your wall or however you communicate best with yourself, schedule those things in. Because I know there are times that we can, right? We're on social media, we're watching Netflix, we're doing something where we can actually maybe take 10 minutes in our day that's going to benefit us long-term. Right? We don't want to kick ourselves in the future. We want to help our future selves. We want to help our future selves be less stressed out. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I will give you the link to the YouTube station so you have that. But the social media is just where I can put some more information that is going to be helpful for you as you go along and making these behavior changes that are going to support your health. So head to those pages and follow me there. I want you to remember to have a healthy week. Text me. 585-813-6063. I will get back to you, I promise. Use me as a resource. I am here. You are paying me to be your resource. I want you to reach out to me. Talk food to me. If you have no one to talk food to, talk to me. I will gladly talk about it with you. Be honest with yourself. I think that's important. And breathe. Any lifestyle change, any change in general, we want to think that we're good with change, but nobody is good with change. So just breathe through it, use box breathing, and progress over perfection. Okay. Enjoy the rest of your night, and I will see everyone, all you lovely PCOS warriors, my lovely ladies. I will see you next Wednesday night at 6 p.m.